And now let's start the action with round number 1.
Round 1 is brought to you by Renaissance Academy of Martial Arts, Central Virginia's best all-around martial arts training academy. Contact us at 434-846-KICK or www.ramarts.com. That's RAMARTS.com.
All right, guys, and we're back. We're going to be going over a couple things in this segment here real quick. I just wanted to get your thoughts real quick. I mean, it was a week or two ago, but I wanted to talk real quickly on what your thoughts were on UFC 112 specifically. So UFC 112, we're about a week out from that fight, Charles. What did you think of that fight?
Well, I thought there were there are ups and downs. BJ Penn fight, Frankie Edgar fight. BJ didn't look like himself.
I totally agree.
He just didn't come out and have the energy and cardio and conditioning. Not sure about the knee. What do you think? Have you heard anything about that knee?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really heard a whole lot other than I know that there's going to be a rematch. But to me, it looked like I've had, we've had fighters that, they fly all over the world and they get jet lag and things like that. And that's what it seemed like to me. I mean, one thing to remember, this fight was in Saudi Arabia. So I think that his physiology was out of whack. I mean, it just did not look like the same BJ Penn at 155 that we've seen before.
Looked like to me, obviously, that Edgar and Penn came in on different planes. Edgar, obviously, they were serving some caffeine, and BJ Penn didn't get that. I still looking at the fight, I think BJ Penn did enough to win a decision. It wasn't the traditional BJ Penn we're used to seeing, but how that fight ends up with the championship being transferred with the results, I still think that's suspect, but that's why you don't let things go 5 rounds and go to the judge's hands, because you just never know what's going to happen.
And that's the one thing that I think that I've heard a lot of from people that I've talked to about the fight. They say, "Oh, they took BJ down." It's like, well, I mean, if you take the guy down, that does not mean that he deserves to lose.
Took him down and did nothing. He got right back up, both times. And yeah, it's the phenomenon to get BJ off his feet, but that doesn't win you a world title. Think about it.
Well, a lot of the the purists and the MMA people that came along with UFC was weight class and people were wearing gis in the ring and things like that. That's one of their complaints, is that it's now become a sport of points almost, and taking someone down can it's not really a real fight at that point. It's just whoever gets the takedown, and that's some of the issues that I've had personally with jiu-jitsu tournaments and things like that. I personally like the submission-only grappling tournaments.
Now, what fighters would you, Jamie, and what fighters would you say, goes by a game plan and goes after it in terms of, going for a win by decision, by points, playing the numbers? I mean, what would be a good example? What fighter would you make an example of?
No, I don't know. I mean, off the top of my head, you just know it when you see it, when you watch a fight.
Like George St. Pierre? I mean, some people would say that George St. Pierre, he hasn't finished his last 5 fights. They've all gone to decision. That he smothers his opponents. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big GSP fan, but is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah. I mean, GSP's last fight with Hardy, he could have finished a couple of times, and he should have, but you could definitely tell that the corner was telling him certain things to do. And he was following the game plan, and he was fighting a smart fight, but it is definitely, MMA it's a sport. It's left the real fight behind, and sometimes they're in there playing the rules game. We were talking about this earlier with the weight cuts and all the things that go along with that. And
well, when you say weight cuts, are you talking about some of the techniques that they use? Fighters are cutting up to 18 to 20 pounds.
Right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and coming in stronger, and cutting way down in weight and getting in there a lot heavier than their opponent, muscle them around. I personally think it usually wears you out, gets you tired. But yeah, some of these fighters and coaches are playing the weight game, and I think maybe they need to look at that, as a sport. The whole sport might need to look at that in the future. But hey, it's a sport. I love the sport. UFC has evolved. It's changed. It's changed for the better. But you got to realize too, from a martial artist standpoint, it has changed from being, some things you're playing the game. Those guys are playing a certain set of rules, and then you manipulate them in those rules, and then using those things to their advantage, like the weight cut or smothering your opponent, or playing the game where you just get position or takedowns and things like that. So.
Now, with that being said, though, the fighters that you train, they cut some significant amount of weight, don't they?
It depends on the fighter. I mean, I mean, everybody's different, and you can't. You can have a game plan for your whole team, but you eventually have to come along and say, this is this guy's strengths and weaknesses, and this is how I need to manipulate those and make him a better fighter. How can I guide him into going in there and getting a W every time? So I mean, everybody's different. You can't have like a carbon cut out of how you're going to train everybody. That's for sure.
We're going to touch more on that in the next segment, going into round 3. We're going to get in depth with Jamie Ridgeway, what it's like to be a mixed martial arts coach and a gym owner, and someone that is on the mat training every single day, training fighters. We're going to be talking about Lynchburg's very first professional mixed martial artist making his debut coming up in May, and we'll be touching on all those things. Come on back to Combat Sports Live in just a moment.